You get cryogenically frozen for 100 years. What's the first question you ask when you wake up?
Is he dead yet?
Ooh, I like that one. Welcome to Words About Stuff, a podcast where I talk to awesome people about the stuff they love. I'm your host, Amy the Copywriter, and I'm joined by Dorothy Fee. Hello, Dorothy.
Hey, Amy. Hello, listeners slash viewers. Thank you for being here.
Dorothy is the brand identity fixer. She's a brand strategist specializing in messaging for inclusive brands, doing good things, solving brand identity crises, and finding the words to help audiences get it, give a crap, and take action. You can find her at dorothycopy.com. So, Dorothy, how do we know each other? How did you get into all this? Tell us your whole life story.
Whole life story, origin story, go. Okay. So we met through the online course where we learned copywriting. Well, that's where I learned it.
Me too.
And then we were in a mastermind together with the same group. It was one of those wild things where I never thought I was going to get into anything writing related professionally or anything related to marketing. But for me, I found that course because I became disabled by chronic illness that affects my nervous system. And so I have less energy. There's exertion intolerance. So you have to figure out what can I do within my envelope that isn't going to make me sicker? And how do I manage my symptoms and not make things worse? So I was unemployed for a couple of years while I tried to figure out how to manage all that. Doom scrolling on Facebook one day, as one does. And then I get served an ad for a course about copywriting. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe like I'm a good student. I like learning new things, and I'm on here all day anyway, just not doing anything. So maybe I'll give it a shot. And so I did. And you work through the course and you do the homework and you get feedback from your peers. And I was delighted to find I was actually kind of good at it. And also, you can do it in a way that's not disgusting and manipulative. Not the reason that everybody hates marketers, right? You can choose a different way of approaching it. You can use your powers for good instead of evil. So that was wonderful to discover. In the beginning, I thought, well, I don't know what this might turn into for me, but I'm going to try it a little bit at a time and see how much I can manage with my health, keeping that balanced. So I started getting introduced to people who needed a copywriter. And then I was like, oh, wait a second, I have clients. That means this is a business.
Oops. Oh no.
I'm a business owner. What? Yeah. So went from, the mom who just made sure things got done and took care of everything to suddenly being disabled by a pretty complex chronic illness that doctors don't even really understand, and being unemployed and like, what is my life right now? I have a college education, I've lived abroad, I have lived experience, I know I can contribute something, I just don't know what. And then I was like, oh, copywriting. I'm a copywriter now. And then that's evolved from there as I took on more projects with different kinds of clients, and really had to get better at, because of my disabilities, figuring out what can I do well that fits in like the right size container, that I'm still able to take care of me while taking care of my clients, right? So where are those boundaries? What kinds of things are a good environment for me to do good work so that I can show up as me, and people get to benefit from my weird brain and all the things that does, um, without hurting me. Um, so I found that I really like clients who appreciate deep strategic thinking and like having interesting conversations, and they're willing to ask and answer some questions that might get uncomfortable, because on the other side of discomfort, like, that tends to be where all the cool new stuff is that you haven't done yet. So I like working with people who are interesting and interested in other things and learning and trying new things, and just good people
Yeah,
you know I have a strict no assholes policy
that's a good one.
in all areas of my life, right? So it's just, I don't I don't have the energy anymore to deal with people who are really only interested in looking smarter than me. Like
Yeah.
that's not fun for me.
It makes me think of that movie, you know, when he's like, I'm too old for that shit. That's how I feel when I'm looking at some of those crypto bros and horrible sales
Lethal
tactics. I'm
Weapon.
like, I'm too old for this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit. That's right.
And I sometimes wonder if that CCA ad, if it could feel the burnout coming off of some of us, because same thing happened to me, it's Facebook ad, and I was in full not able to do my job anymore mode.
I don't know what it was, how the targeting worked, but they picked up on something
Hmm.
that I was searching and fed that ad to the right person. So I have a love-hate relationship with advertising and marketing because I am very aware that it has been used for nefarious
Yeah.
purposes for a very long time by lots of people, and it's really gross. But also used a different way, it can actually make people's lives a lot
Yeah.
better. Because if I hadn't seen that ad, I would not have ended up in this industry. I would not have found a new professional identity. I would not have been a business owner or freelancer. I would have still been trying to find somebody who was willing to give me a job that would work around my health that did not exist.
Monumental. That kind of ask. A job that's going to respect you. Ah.
Yeah, so unreasonable. And this was before the pandemic
Yeah.
too. So, remote work is a lot more culturally accepted and understood now, but this was 2019. I'm like, okay, so I've learned some skills. There's clearly a market for them. People are hiring freelancers in this industry, but I'm pretty significantly disabled. So I need something that's part-time and flexible and remote. Like I have to be able to be the one calling the shots on when I get a break and how much work I take on. But I'm also brand new in this industry and I don't have any references yet, by the way. Right? So in the traditional job market, you're not in a position to ask for all of those things, right? You kind of have to prove yourself before you can say, hey, can I do some of this work remotely? And then they might say yes, right? But like nobody knew who I was. I hadn't proven myself, brand new. And also I have all of these requirements.
Yeah.
Like that job just did not exist. So
And isn't it like capitalism for us to think we do have to prove ourselves in order to like take a break? That's the amount of time we need. I fully felt that too. I was a
it
supervisor
is.
telling people you have 10 minutes to go to the bathroom. And I was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right. Something's not good here."
I push back on a Facebook friend of mine. My Facebook is totally it's private. That's my personal space for shit posting and politics and dogs doing stupid things. But one of my Facebook friends, who I don't know super well, but we are friends, he likes to post a lot of motivational and inspirational quotes, which sometimes is fine.
And sometimes
But this time sometimes it's really not. Um, this time he posted something about mindset.
mm,
And it basically said a strong mindset, with discipline and motivation and work ethic and all these things. A strong mindset can achieve anything, is what this post says.
anything.
And I feel the rage start to bubble up inside me.
Anything.
So
Whoa.
I was like, dude, I'm pushing all the way back on this one. Yeah, discipline, you cannot discipline your way out of living in an extractive, capitalist, sexist, racist, ableist system that is literally designed to keep you exhausted and compliant.
But you could wake up at 6 a.m. and have some whey powder.
Humanity is not a mindset problem.
No.
We do not all have the same capabilities and capacity and access to opportunity. And I said, do you really believe this? This is so toxic. Because this is saying if you aren't able to achieve everything,
Yeah.
then the problem is you didn't mindset hard enough.
And is that a form of marketing? Like, I struggle to believe that billionaires are organized enough to like be intentionally sending these messages, but maybe they are because the message is, oh, you didn't make enough money, that's your fault, not the system we designed and control and are purposefully keeping you doubted. You gotta buy less avocado toast.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. If we keep you razzle dazzled,
Mm-hmm.
being angry at supposed welfare queens and supposed immigrants who are supposedly doing, like, taking jobs that nobody else
Yeah.
wants and supposedly getting all these benefits that they do not get. They're actually paying more in taxes than they get in anything.
Oh, that part was always so frustrating to me because I'm from Canada and I came to America and I am an immigrant to America, right? They don't notice because I'm white and I sound American and all those things. So people around me would say stuff like,
Yeah.
"Did you know
Yeah.
immigrants get free food?" I was like, "Where? I don't have that. I'm not allowed to go on welfare. I can't have any social assistance. If I don't have something, like my husband has to pay for it or his mom because they signed my immigration papers." I was like, "Where's the thing? Give it to me so I can sign up." "Oh, they get free houses." Okay, can I have it? Like, it was so easy to disprove.
Where's my check for going to all these No Kings protests?
Exactly. I was like, "Okay, just you have to think one step past it, right?" And I think you've hit on a good point.
We were told there'd be punch and pie.
There was supposed to be cake, and the cake is a lie. But Facebook is a place where people just hit share a lot of the time, and I think they are kind of propagandizing themselves at some point.
Part of it is it's a self-soothing thing. If you feel connected to this narrative that seems to tie everything up with a nice tidy bow, then you don't have to worry about what you're doing wrong. If you keep sharing that narrative, you keep towing the line, good things are going to come your way eventually. It's going to trickle down because you're on the right side,
Yeah, it's
right?
the frustrated millionaires that every single person is, apparently. I think, and we're touching a little bit on the main topic of identity.
Yes, we're circling the edge. Yeah.
We're teasing it.
I just got some indirect feedback this morning. I was catching up with an agency I've worked with, and they said they'd had conversations with a previous client we'd worked with together. And the client said he'd been enjoying my LinkedIn and I'm a good follow. And he's like, if we do this project, Dorothy's going to be on it, right? I was
Yay!
like, oh my God, I feel so seen.
See, and that's it. That's all that social
Hmm.
media is for. Somebody cool noticing you. That's what I think.
It's getting a better sense of, like, do I like how this person thinks?
Yeah. And can I remember them?
And if so, I'm going to give them, a high five.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will I tell somebody about, oh, you know what? You need to talk to this person I follow. They're really smart.
Yeah. I'm starting to get it. Before I was like, I have to provide value and whatever. And like, sure. But first and foremost, I have to kind of be me more than that, I think.
I've stopped trying to provide value on social media. I've
Yeah.
leaned into what is the thing that people need most from businesses they have not interacted with? They need to know that they're real people who can be trusted.
Yeah. Thank you, AI. That's helped us figure out.
So, right?
I'm not AI.
Yeah.
Please notice
So
me.
I've leaned into the, just like, I'm just going to be extra real now, and I'm going to cuss, and I'm going to talk about ice, and I'm going to talk
Hmm.
about, you know, how you're letting AI fuck things up for you and celebrating it the whole time.
Yep. Oh, I went into a deep dive on that.
Not a lot of people seem to know what Thneeds are, I've discovered recently, and that made me sad. Yeah, no, it's from the Dr. Seuss
The
book, The
Lorax.
Lorax.
Yeah.
But I think it's an amazing metaphor for the AI industry because the Onceler convinces everybody with all of his hyped up marketing that everybody needs a Thneed.
Yeah.
It's not really clear what it can do for you or how to use it, but everybody should have one, right? So then they go into massive production and, like, they cut down all the truffula trees and poison the air and the water, and all the animals have to either die or move somewhere else. And at the end, you've got this destroyed environment. And for what? Like, nobody even needs the Thneed.
They don't. Oh, I had forgotten about that.
All the, like, AI tech bros are saying, we really need people to adopt AI more in order for us to continue doing this. And I'm like, it's a Thneed. Like, if there's,
Yeah.
it's not our job to make your business viable. Do something people want.
And they keep trying. They keep being like, do you want AI to make this happen? I'm like, no. Do you want AI to read your emails for you? No, right? They keep doing it every day.
Oh,
Oh, you just got a new AI feature in Canva. I was like, I don't want it.
I know. Everything is like AI powered. And I'm like, fuck off. I don't want it if it's AI powered. I want to use my brain.
The one I hate most pops up and it's like, do you want AI to improve your writing? I'm like, ha! You can try. You're not gonna do it.
Come on. Like Grammarly wasn't bad enough.
I
No,
know.
no, thank you.
Brutal. This episode is brought to you by your ears. This is a PSA directly from them. Don't put anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. Don't do it. Why? Your ears are self-cleaning. Wax moves from the inside to the outside naturally. I think it's at a rate similar to how fast your fingernails grow. But anyway, here are some things you shouldn't put in your ears. Q-tips. I know. They're marketed like we're supposed to put them in our ears all the time. We're not. Don't put them in your ears. They are smaller than your elbow. They don't go in your ears. I know it feels good. I know there's a little itch in there. I know you did it before, so now you have to do it again. When you put the Q-tip in your ear, you push wax in there and you mess up your whole self-cleaning thing that your ears have been designed to do. It's going to cause blockages. It's going to cause it to be itchy. So then you're going to want to put more Q-tips in your ears. Don't do it. You can damage your ear canal. You can damage your skin. You can maybe pop your eardrum. Maybe infections. Just don't do it. And you don't want to take all the earwax out of your ear. It's there for a reason. It traps dirt. It has antibacterial properties. So how can you clean your ears? Because I have narrow ear canals, and when I wear headphones, I get a lot of earwax buildup in there. It's gross. You can use a washcloth or a towel to wipe your ear, but once it gets really bad, you know what you gotta do? You gotta go to the doctor, and they're gonna flush it out. They got a cool machine, shoots water in, a bunch of earwax comes out, disgusting, amazing. That's the thing you gotta do, because you need a person to look in and be like, oh yeah, it's actually earwax, let me get it out. You don't want to be trying to flush out earwax that's actually an infection in your ear. It hurts a lot, don't do it. Take care of your ears, people. No bobby pins, no Q-tips, no pens, no pen lids, no tooth scrapies in the ear. This has been a message from your ears. And now, back to the episode. This podcast is for awesome people by awesome people. So the question is, what makes you awesome today and what makes me awesome today? And I didn't think about it. I like to ambush myself as well. I'm thinking, okay, so I have one. So yesterday, what was yesterday? The 12th? Okay. So my husband's birthday is today. And he always buys himself everything that he wants, and he doesn't want a lot of things, right? So at the beginning of the month, I said to him, do not buy anything that you are going to talk about. Do not buy it. And then his headphones like broke the next day. And I was like, do not buy yourself new headphones. I will get them for your birthday. I organized all that. And then he got his presents early. And then I thought, his birthday is tomorrow, and he already got all his presents because the headphones broke. He had to use them. Utilitarian household over here.
Right.
I thought,
Yeah.
now he doesn't have a present. And the capitalism in me was like, you should buy him another present to give to him tomorrow, right? Because he needs a present on his birthday. And then I was like, what is happening? We don't want to order from Amazon.
Yeah,
We
because
don't want to do that.
if you don't do that, you haven't performed capitalism appropriately.
Right. And maybe I'm not a
Yeah.
good wife, and maybe I'm not a good significant other, and all of these weird thoughts. And then I was like, that's weird. Don't do that. So last night I drew him a card and I left it for him. I haven't seen him yet today because
Okay.
he's driving people around, but I think that makes me awesome. I didn't give in to Amazon whispering in my ear.
There you go. High fives for you. The one thing I think is awesome about me is the way that I show up for other people. It's not always comfortable or easy, but it always makes their life better somehow because it pushes them to look deeper at what they're doing and be more intentional about their choices,
And that's both personal and professional, isn't it?
both personal and professional. Yep, because with clients, I'm solving brand identity crises, right? If there's something that's not working, something has fallen out of alignment, it's hard to know what happened where. we're just going to look under the hood and see what we can figure out. What's still working, what needs to be replaced, what just needs a tune up, and then see how that feels at the end of it, right? Now you're going to, sometimes it's a total change of identity. I've had clients who decided to give themselves a different title that better represents what they're doing. I've had clients change their offer suite and their client journey because I was helping them see the things that weren't adding up, right? Where they were kind of, things were dropping off. It's like, no, this is actually better than what we're explaining it as right now. So let's do a better job at that. I had one client who was non-binary, and I was working on their messaging foundations. And I said, okay, so at some point I'm going to need to use some pronouns. So I just want to make sure which pronouns are the ones that work for you. And they got really quiet and they said, nobody's ever asked me that before. They picked their pronouns. They'd been living non-binary for a couple of years at that point. Nobody had asked them what their pronouns were that they wanted to use. So they decided right on that call.
That is so cool.
So that's the professional side where I'm looking at, here's the landscape I'm seeing. Here's how I'm seeing you show up. Does this all feel right for you? And if not, what doesn't feel aligned? Let's take another look and make sure we can find something that feels good for you, that sends you in the direction you need to be going, right?
Yeah.
On the personal side, I mean, I do this with conversations with my friends. They'll talk to me about somebody they're seeing or trying to see and whatever it is that they're dealing with. And I will reflect back what I'm seeing and ask them questions
Mm-hmm.
about what they're trying to do and what they want, right? Just like I don't have all the answers. I can't tell you who you are and what's important to you, but I can help you get really clear on it.
Yeah. That really ties into something. What was I listening to? Well, I can't remember now, so I'll pretend it's my idea. But it was probably a psychologist on YouTube talking about the locus of control. Like, if you believe that you control things, that you affect things, you can do what you're describing. You can say, oh, here's a problem. Let's look at all the pieces and let's figure out the solution. So if your locus of control is inside, that might be a more natural thing for you to do. But there are people who have it externally. They believe that the world happens to them and all they can do is react, and they don't really have this feeling of like, I can fix it. And that's so
Yeah.
interesting to me because like I think I can fix literally everything, but there are so many clients that I see that they're
Okay.
like, well, you know, this is happening and then this might happen and then and like, well, we can fix it.
It is what it is. Mm-hmm.
They're that whatever they are in their own story. They aren't the main character, I guess.
Yeah. Right, which is so disempowering. It's sad. It makes me sad to hear people talk about things like that are just happening and they feel like they have no power to change any of it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I was on a podcast a few years ago and I heard myself back afterwards and I was like, oh shit, I need to get divorced listening to my own advice. But at the time on that podcast, I was talking about making decisions that are big and scary and you don't know what to expect and you can't predict the outcomes and you just have to make a choice anyway. Because I said, you're not going to be able to predict what all the outcomes are. You can't control the entire process, but you can still look at what is in front of you. You can look at your life and you can decide, you know what, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
I need to do something else. And we're going to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it after that episode came out and I was like, oh my God.
You're like, I'm talking to me.
I know, right? Um, I think it's hard when you're faced with a decision like that. It comes down to how comfortable are you with being uncomfortable, with not having total control.
And so many people aren't.
So many people aren't, and a lot of it is trauma,
Yeah.
right? It's deep inside our nervous systems. We had to survive situations we were in for a long time by controlling every detail that we could to stay safe. And so it's hard to give up that control and just be like, it's got to be better than this.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be, but it's got to be better than this.
Well, and there's that entire, like we were talking about on Facebook, the memes, they're sharing it. There's that entire ecosystem telling you that everything is very hard, which it is, and everything is set up against you, which it is, and you can do something about your own life.
And
Yeah.
yes, that's That's the both and. So I'm a fan of yes and. Okay, yes, this is what's in front of me right now. And now I'm going to do this based on that, right?
Yeah.
But something I learned more recently is both and.
Mm.
So I got this from a book I was reading on relational awareness, which is like self-awareness of your own person combined with, okay, so how does that translate into relationships with other people in my life? It's called Loving Bravely,
Mhm.
and it's by Dr. Alexandra Solomon. And it's basically a bunch of exercises. It's like a workbook almost of like, here's how to learn all these things about how you work and how you bring that into relationships. And one of the important things was holding space for ambiguity.
It feels so scary.
Because people and situations, it is scary because you can't control it. You can't keep it in one tidy little box and know exactly how to talk about it and how to think about it and what role it's going to play in your life. But in order to have relationships with other people that are overall healthy and not just like a net harm, you have to leave space for ambiguity because we're humans, we're messy. Good people do bad things.
Yeah.
Bad people sometimes do good things. Not everybody doing a good thing is doing it because they're a good person. Sometimes it's because they're an altruistic narcissist and they want that PR. But the thing about both and is if you can hold space for two almost contradictory things to be true at the same time without just launching into cognitive dissonance and dissociation, if you can say, yes, I love this person deeply. I am so in love with them and they are an important part of my life. And they just did this thing that really hurt me deeply.
Yeah. How can both be true? Because they are a lot of the time.
Because they are, because we're people and we're going to hurt each other, even if we don't mean to. So to be able to hold space for that and not just say, okay, this person made this mistake, therefore they have a terrible character, they're a bad person, and this can't be fixed. Okay. I mean, that makes things really
Yeah.
clear cut. If that's how you want to look at things, you're also not going to have any
Yeah.
relationships in your life.
You're looking for a perfect person who doesn't exist, or if they do, something's wrong. If they're presenting you with perfect,
Hey, and why would you think that that is, first of all, a good idea to be with somebody who is supposedly flawless, which we know doesn't exist? But second of all, why would you think that you deserve that?
yeah.
Because look in the mirror.
That's why the book starts with doing work on yourself.
Yes. Have you never made a mistake in your life? Have you never misunderstood a situation? Have you never continued using old patterns that served you when you were, in a traumatic situation, but now they've become destructive?
Mhm.
Have you literally never gotten anything wrong? Why do you think that in order for somebody else to come into your life, they have to first be perfect and totally
Yeah.
healed and not bring any complications into
And
your
that
life?
reminds me of like, I think red flag lists can be helpful, right? Or whatever. But sometimes they're a way to
Or
keep everyone away from you, right?
yeah, the deal breakers, the like, oh, they can't root for the Mets.
Oh no, my husband loves the Mets.
What?
Oh no. So I have to think of something for the audience to comment because now we say, and what makes the audience awesome is liking, subscribing, or sharing the podcast and leaving a comment with something they took away from this conversation that made them say, oh, that's me, or uh-oh, or need to get divorced. What you would have put on your other podcast.
Just at me next time, Amy. At me next time.
Oh, that's so funny. So we're not at the main topic yet because first is the speed round. It is your speed.
Oh boy.
It
Okay.
is not fast or slow. It is the Dorothy
My speed.
speed. 5 questions.
Nice. Thank you
We'll
very
go
much.
tortoise speed. The first question is, what is your favorite smell? Probably not tortoise. They kind of smell bad.
The first thing that comes to mind is rain.
Ooh. Yeah. Now you're making me think of like, when grass has just been
Like
cut. I like that
the
smell.
yeah, the first rain after a dry spell.
Not in New York City though. That stinks.
Not in New York City, but I'm upstate,
Yeah.
so I can enjoy rain.
Yeah, because I was thinking of all the places I've lived and what it smelled like when it rained, and then I landed on when we lived in New York City, and I was like, ew, you get 400 points for that. And now question two, are you usually early, late, or on time? Or Are you an early bird or a night owl? A question around your relationship to how you see yourself with time.
We're going deep today. Okay.
Early bird, night owl? I'm going to answer that for me. I've always
Okay.
been a night owl, right? And then recently, I got to give him credit. It was my husband was talking about it. He heard it somewhere. But people who have neurodivergence or work really hard to like show up in social situations, all day you're showing up, right? And then at night, nobody needs you. And you can just fucking relax or shut off or do your weird stuff or whatever it is. So, night owl, but only because of that. When I was able to do whatever I needed to during the day,
Oh,
I can go to sleep at night. That's fine because I've been able to
yeah.
recharge all day. I thought it was a personality trait and it's just a brain difference.
I can kind of relate to that actually more from the my parenting experience than from the neurodivergent experience. When my kids were smaller, I was the primary parent who was spending most of the time with them, and it's a lot of demands on your time and your energy and your emotions all day. You know, co-regulating this little human who doesn't know how to co-regulate anything yet, and making sure that they have enrichment activities and all the
Yeah.
things, right? So at the end of the day, like I'd put them into bed and then I had a couple of hours where I could be something other than mom.
That's hard to get back to.
So it was really hard to go to bed early
Yeah.
myself because that meant I was giving up not mom time.
Yeah.
So then you end up staying up later than maybe you probably should because you're so embracing that me time.
Yeah. I think that
Yeah.
happens with like I had the same thing too. I'm like, well, when can I relax? Because I could barely hold on to my own emotions. I'm barely hanging on. And then with work, it was the same kind of thing. I'm at work all day, and then I have to do a bunch of chores. And then when's the time? When's the
Yeah.
time to do stuff I like and create and whatever?
When's the time to just be?
That's why owning your own schedule, all those things, essential for me now. I think I
Yeah.
worked so much
Yeah.
before, so much, so brutally, a lot, no bathroom breaks, 10 hours.
Really?
I was like, I don't think I could do that now, and I shouldn't. I shouldn't have done it then.
I don't think anybody
No.
should.
And it was also self imposed. Like, people would have given me breaks if I asked for them, but if I asked for them, I'm not the best worker, right?
Uh,
It's,
yeah.
it's all up in here.
Because your value is in being a super productive robot.
Yes. Exactly. Now we have super productive robots for AI that don't do anything. So I realized I was a better robot than even these robots.
We're still supposed to think that they're valuable and that we should all want them.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Which comes back to our conversation about the Lorax and the Thneeds.
Yes. We need less needs.
I would say I'm usually on time. I often try to be early. It doesn't always work out, but I do not like being late.
Yeah, I also do not like being late, and yet, and both, I know that I can get
Yep.
something done right before it's time. Right before I need to leave. Oh, I could put the laundry away, or I'm doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for me, this is why I try to be early because I know that's not always going to happen because the executive function issue comes in where I'm looking at the clock. I've got 15 minutes left till my appointment. Great, I can do
Mhm.
this thing. I look at it the next time, there's 2 minutes left, and I haven't set anything up for my meeting. So
Yeah.
that is a thing that
Well,
happens.
and that's why for me working from home so much easier because if I have my alarm for like 5 or 10 or 15, like depending what I have to do before the meeting, I set my alarm for that much time before. So that reminds me, right? Like 20 minutes before the meeting
Yeah,
means I had to prepare something for the meeting. 5 minutes before means I'm just showing up. That's
exactly.
cool. But when I had to go
Yeah,
places in person, I had it timed out for obviously the optimal drive. It takes me 20 minutes to get there, except
sure.
there's an accident, they close something, whatever happens. And then I'm just a ball of stress the whole goddamn time because it usually takes me 20 minutes. I'm going to tell them what. Working from home? Uh, I am on time for everything working from home.
Nice. Yeah, there's times where I have to actually leave the
Uh,
house for an appointment to go to the dentist or something, and I'm like, oh, I forgot
yeah,
drive time is a thing. I can't control for that variable.
no. And if I leave super early, I'm going to be annoyed.
Bring something with you that you like doing in the waiting room. You know, it could be Like I'm a knitter. I used to knit a lot more compulsively than I do now, because I don't have as much energy as I did before I got sick. But yeah, I used to be knitting, like I'd be knitting socks while I'm walking downtown
Ooh.
for dinner or something. People would just see me around like, why do I, where have I seen you? Oh, I walk
I
and I
walk
knit.
and I knit. Compulsive knitter feels like an identity that is just so beautiful.
Yeah, I always had at least two projects on the needles because you want one project that's really interesting and challenging and you're like learning a new skill. You're maybe integrating some different skills. So maybe this is not your first sweater, but it's the first one that incorporates both, I don't know, lace and cables, for instance. So you want something that's kind of pushing your growth edge, but then also you want something mindless so that you can still be making something beautiful and useful while you're watching TV or at your kid's swim practice or whatever. Yeah, so I used to knit a whole lot, but since I got sick and then also ended up, being in business and having to figure out, wait, I can't just do the work. I have to run a business also and like develop relationships so that people can get to know me who will then want to work with me. Like that's a whole thing I had never done before. I just don't have as much energy for creative stuff.
Well, and now that stuff is both like doing the work you already know how to do in copywriting, which is, I have some clients that are like that. Like I'm used to them, I can do easy, fast. And then, same thing, I want to
Yep.
do some stuff I've never done before. I want to do stuff that I'm learning. That's what this is.
Yeah.
So it might not be knitting, but you are still doing stuff that you know how to do and growing all the time because of the business.
I am, and it's forced a few like professional identity crises. I've been doing this for what, 6 years, and I've changed my title a
Hmm.
few times. And how I position my work a few times. I started out, I was just a copywriter, and then I ended up helping people with messaging foundations and figuring out voice and positioning and things. So then I was like, okay, I'm a copywriter slash messaging strategist. And then I realized, oh, I'm actually doing more of that messaging and strategic stuff than
Yeah.
I am the writing, because it works better for my energy. And I'm good at it. And a lot of people who write copy are also good at that kind of hand holding. So that became a differentiator for me. And I was like, well, I have to
Yeah.
put that first then, right? So I'm a messaging strategist slash copywriter. But then I kept, like, the more clients I worked with and the more people who got to know me through networking and everything, and just they got so much out of the conversations with me, even if we weren't talking about their business, like they weren't hiring me for a consultation, but just having a conversation, I kept having people say they felt so much better after just talking with me, just talking through things and like bouncing ideas off of me. I know one person who runs a networking group, and I had known him for a few years at this point, and he's like, Dorothy, you got to stop calling yourself a copywriter. You're a strategist. Like, help me send you better
Ooh.
referrals, please. I'm currently in the next painful phase of metamorphosis, and I'm embracing that for the last couple of years, I've been a brand strategist who also does some copywriting. I've been white labeling that work. I didn't build out my own offer suite as a freelancer specifically for standalone strategy services, but I was doing it through an agency for, the end client, and I just hadn't built out my own offers and changed my
Yeah.
title in my business. And I've had enough people in this last year tell me, why are you
Yeah.
hedging this, Dorothy? Why are you qualifying this by saying, oh, but I only really do messaging? You're a brand strategist, own it. And I was like, oh my God,
They had the mirror. They're holding it up for you.
it's terrifying. They did. They had the mirror. They held it up for me and they asked me the hard questions that I had been
Yeah.
avoiding. Right. So I needed somebody to do that for me. And it took a few people.
Well, because that can feel loaded too. Like brand strategist, we can associate that with
Hmm.
some people who are unethical and scammy and whatever. So you have to like try to own it and then show how you're different from them. And that feels complicated.
Yeah. For me, the hang up with embracing just brand strategist full stop was a lot of brand strategists you'll meet, they come from a design
Oh,
background.
yeah.
So they are doing brand strategy, but also then doing your brand design, maybe designing and building your website. A lot of people are doing
Mm.
all of these things. So a lot of times that's what a brand strategist looks like. And I didn't want to give the impression that I'm going to design anything because I don't design shit. You do not want me making things handling the visuals of anything. That's
Yes.
not what I do. So that was part of it. But then I realized, wait a second. So I've worked on projects where you have your creatives and then you have your strategists, and they're often
Mm-hmm.
different people. So if you have a brand strategist on the team, they're not always the one actually designing or writing anything. They're often just handling strategy. And then a junior creative is handling the
Yeah.
execution. And that's what flipped the switch for me in my brain, because then I was like, okay, I've been holding myself back from just embracing that title because I thought I was going to be misrepresenting myself by saying I could do something that I can't. But I don't think that that's true. I think, Amy, you're going to be shocked to hear this, because I know you know that I have never overthought a single thing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was overthinking
Yeah.
what it would mean to take that title. I think nobody else in the world would make that assumption.
Right, because you're going all the way to step 47.
Right.
You're like, okay, so they hired me and then they want me to build their
Yeah.
website. That's totally a thought I would have. I'd be like, oh no, they'll find out I can't build websites.
Yeah. And then that brings about, if you're changing your professional identity, then that's going to change some other things too, particularly if you're in business for yourself. I mean, it applies if you're an employee as well, but if you're running a business and you're changing how you're going to position not just your services, your offer suite, but who you are, what your identity is, how you show up for people. Well, that's a rebrand.
Yes.
That's not just, I'm going to tweak the explanation of this service. That's a rebrand. And that's a big, scary thing. It's vulnerable.
Yeah, it touches on you as a person and the brand.
Yeah, which is why, you understand and I understand it's a relationship-based business, because trust is
Yeah.
everything. If you're going to bring in somebody else to represent your brand, your identity, to speak in your voice,
Oof.
to protect and grow this thing that you've built with your bare hands and your blood, sweat, and
Yeah.
tears, it needs to be somebody you can trust. You need to know that they are going to be on your side and they're not going to ask you to do anything that's going to be against your best interests,
Yeah.
right? So I'm kind of going through that process myself, but just like I'm doing the self
Mm-hmm.
huddle. I'm like, all right, Dorothy, we've seen the hard truths. We've seen what's not working. We just need to figure out, what words we're going to use now. So like, I'm going to have to change my business name and my domain name. I'll have a redirect. So if people hear
Yeah.
this in 2 years and they go to dorothycopy.com, it'll send you to the right
Yep.
one. But like, I don't know what the business name is going to be. I just know that it can't be Dorothy Copy anymore, because that puts the focus in the wrong place.
Having to do the work for, like, when I have to write copy for me, ugh, right? I love doing it for other people because I can easily see their problems and solve them. So you're doing super hard mode, your own brand strategy on yourself, the emotional energy. You get at
Yeah.
least 1,000,000 points for that. Question 4? I should number them. I know that I need to number them. 1, 2, oh, 3.
Oh, I forgot we were still
This
doing
is the
questions.
speed round. This
That wasn't rapid fire. I just went on a
That's the
tangent.
point of the speed round. It's to talk about weird stuff.
Okay, now you have a better sense of
That's
my speed.
perfect.
Did I mention executive dysfunction? Yeah.
Okay, third one. What's the least important thing you know how to do? I think mine is juggling. It has yet to be necessary or life-saving or important. Uh I think it's fun and something I wouldn't give up, but I don't think it's the most I think it might be the least important thing I know how to do. Maybe I start a juggling YouTube channel that it'll become the most important thing.
That's a really tough one too. You ask hard
You
questions,
know,
Amy.
these are the big questions in life.
This is why we're here, is to figure these things out. I'm gonna go with gift wrapping.
Ooh, are you a pro gift wrapper with those crisp edges?
My edges would make you weep.
I believe it. I can appreciate a good wrapping. I did it 1 year. 1 year I wrapped and it matched like the candy on the top and the bow
Okay.
and whatever. I did it and then I was like, ah, I have
Okay.
reached nirvana. I've never ascended to the top again.
Yep. Don't need to do it again. Yeah, I don't go super over the top, but it's just like, of all the things, this is a thing that I learned from my older sister, who is very into making things look nice, and she was super into like Martha Stewart and homemaking and that stuff, and that was really never my bag. But she taught me how to wrap presents, so I can use 3 pieces of tape on just about any box, and that's
Efficiency.
it. And do the curling ribbon so it's nice and fluffy, and
Yes.
yeah.
I think that's super important. But yes, maybe not in the grand scheme, but one day there's going to be a rapping competition
Yeah.
and you're going to win it.
One day, one day. You're not gonna get a present from me and be like, who wrapped this?
You're going to be like, "Ah, I see it."
Do a gift bag next time. Save us all this moral affront that is a badly wrapped package. Yeah.
That's going to be 5,000 points for sure. Question 4. I don't remember putting this here, but fine. It says you get cryogenically frozen for 100 years. What's the first question you ask when you wake up?
Is he dead yet?
Ooh, I like that one. We're keeping that one. That's good. 11 billion points and 1 Lorax. And last question, number 5. What's a pet you
Thank you.
don't want? I'm going to say a bird. Those sounds. Ugh. All day. Lives for 30 years?
I had birds when I was a kid. I should not have had birds.
Is it like beep, 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 like all time?
Um, it wasn't a super lot. I didn't know how to take care of them
I
properly.
don't either.
They were parakeets. I feel really bad
Oh.
in retrospect.
Well, kids shouldn't have to be the adults in the pet caring situation. You don't have to feel bad about it. You're a kid.
No, they should not. They should not, in point
Yeah.
of fact. That is not something that in elementary school I should have managed without adult supervision,
No.
now that you mention it.
Yeah, I think you have 0% of the responsibility there.
I'm gonna say cats, actually.
Have you had a cat before?
I grew up,
Mm,
yes, I grew up with both dogs and cats the whole time I grew up. Um, and I've just had enough bad experiences with cats. Like, if dogs go bad, it's usually a behavioral issue that you can figure out and help them figure out what the expectations are and retrain them. If cats go bad, they go really fucking bad,
yeah.
and they don't give a shit whether you like it or not, right? So I had enough experiences with cat. Like, I had a cat that not only would go to the bathroom in wrong places in the house, it ended up clawing my kid.
Oh no.
So, and we had taught her like how to respect an animal's boundaries and all these things, and don't just assume you can grab the cat. They have to be okay with interacting with you, because consent matters for pets as
Yeah.
well as humans. Thank you. I didn't see it happen, but she went to pet him and clawed both sides of her face. She has a little
Oh
scar on her
no.
jaw.
And like people joke about like cat scratch fever,
So
but it's a real thing. It's a real bad disease.
it's a real thing, because cat claws they go deep.
Yeah.
And if you get it infected, it can be really, really
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Watch out for cat scratch
Mhm.
fever. It's not a joke.
So yeah, I don't think I would have cats again.
Fair enough.
Like, I'm not blaming all of catdom for that
No,
behavior. I know that it's not all
it's
cats.
not. It's not all men,
It's just
not all cats.
not worth it for me, you know. Not all men, but about 2/3 of them.
Yeah. And only the third that wouldn't be offended can be listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
If you're offended, bye.
Yeah. I saw some numbers recently broken down. Somebody had tried to kind of put together the numbers from various studies that they were able to find on, like, well, how many men have sexually assaulted somebody? How many women have been sexually assaulted? And it's hard to get exact numbers, because the answers you're going to get depend on, well, is it self-reported or did somebody else report it? And also, what definition of assault are
Yeah.
we using? Because a lot of people think that in order for it to be sexual assault, there has to be physical force involved.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Right.
So I have known people personally who raped somebody and thought that it was not rape or sexual assault of any kind, because the person eventually said yes.
Right. And that's a foundational, fundamental problem.
That's not consent. That is coercion. submitting to coercion is not consent.
No, that's a survival mechanism.
Just in case there's anybody listening who didn't already know that.
Yes. Perfect.
Woo! Nice lighthearted topics today.
A perfect score. No, they're all, to me, they're all interesting. Doesn't matter if they're light or not. Join us next week for the thrilling conclusion. We actually get to the main topic and talk about identity. How do you know who you are? What creates and changes your identity? Are you a ship of Theseus? But for now, follow Dorothy Fee on LinkedIn or check out her website at dorothycopy.com. And since good artists borrow and great artists steal, this outro comes from Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Now plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air, grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.